The government has recently taken a major step by restructuring the goods and services tax into just two slabs. Now, this reform is being seen as a landmark decision that will shape the future of business and daily life, everyday life in India for everybody. GST has always been a subject of deep discussion among businesses. So friends, when GST was first introduced, it had multiple slabs that created plenty of confusion for small traders, large corporations and even customers at shops. The new system now brings clarity with only two slabs. The essentials will be taxed at 5% and all other goods and services will be taxed at 18%. So the confusion is now out. For entrepreneurs, this change means simplified tax structures, faster decision making and easier planning for the future growth. Friends, a small shop owner selling packaged food earlier had to worry about multiple tax categories. Now with just two slabs, the billing becomes straightforward, transparent and easier to explain to customers. It will make life so easy. For large corporations, multiple tax slabs often created unnecessary delays in invoicing and accounting. Now with only two slabs of 5% and 18%, accounting departments can work with precision and save many hours of repetitive tasks. Friends, entrepreneurs across sectors from retail to manufacturing can now focus on expanding their business rather than wasting time to interpret tax rules while selling across multiple states within the country. Now, this leads to a business environment where creativity and customer satisfaction will take priority over paperwork and confusion. Friends, the new GST structure also reduces disputes that often arose during audits or inspections. Simplified categories leave little room for interpretation errors, which is a great relief to everybody, including entrepreneurs. In real life, think of a small restaurant chain that earlier struggled with various tax rates on food and beverages. Now the billing is seamless and absolutely easy to present to customers who appreciate transparency in pricing. Consumers will benefit directly as well. Now just two slabs means lesser complexities for shopkeepers and service providers, which translates into lesser errors in bills. For example, a household buying groceries every week will now see simpler billing formats with less scope for hidden charges. The customer experience becomes smoother and more trustworthy, building stronger relationships between sellers and buyers. This new GST system will also increase the ease of doing business in India, which is always welcome, everyday welcome. Friends, foreign investors often consider simplicity of taxation before committing to large investments. With only two slabs of 5% and 18%, India now appears more investor friendly, which can boost industries and multiply job opportunities. A textile exporter from Surat earlier faced difficulties in filing returns with multiple categories of goods. Now the process is streamlined, allowing them to focus more on production and exports. Friends, the manufacturing sector, which often deals with various raw materials and finished goods, will now see reduced classification disputes, and there were plenty in the past. Now this gives industries more control over costs and long-term strategies. Service providers like software companies and consultants also gain with a simplified billing process. It reduces confusion when providing services to clients across India and abroad. A young startup offering organic skincare products can now reach more customers confidently with absolutely clear tax structures. The move also is cascading effect where one tax over the other created hidden costs in the supply chain. Now entrepreneurs can manage pricing better and pass on real benefits to the customers. The clarity in taxation helps even rural entrepreneurs who are beginning their journey into small businesses. It is such a welcome step. From farmers selling packaged goods to artisans selling handicrafts, everyone will experience a fairer and an easier structure and a system to calculate GST. Online payment platforms and billing systems will now be easier to program with only two slabs of 5% and 18%. Now this gives confidence to entrepreneurs who are embracing technology for growth. In many countries, friends, simplified taxation has been a big driver for entrepreneurial success. India has now joined the ranks of nations where ease of tax compliance is seen as a driver of innovation. The psychological comfort of having just two slabs cannot be underestimated. Entrepreneurs can now explain taxes to their staff and customers in a very simple and a very straightforward manner. This was long awaited. Now this confidence reduces friction and builds trust in financial transactions. When trust grows, businesses scale faster and create more jobs. A bakery owner who once felt anxious about tax filing will now breathe easy with this simplified system. The reform also makes compliances less expensive for entrepreneurs. That's also a cost that will be saved. Fewer slabs means lower cost for accounting, auditing and consultancy. Now this particularly is useful for micro, small and medium enterprises which form the backbone of the entire Indian economy. Students preparing for entrepreneurial careers will learn simplified concepts and feel more motivated to start new ventures and more ventures. The two slab system will also support government revenues in a much more balanced manner. Streamlined taxation reduces evasion and strengthens the formal economy. Friends, this creates a cycle of trust between government, entrepreneurs and the consumers who are the common citizens of this country. India is on a journey towards becoming a multi-trillion-dollar economy. Simplified GST is just a stepping stone that empowers startups, strengthens industries and positions India in a global hub of innovation and commerce. Friends, the journey ahead will see entrepreneurs lead with greater confidence and phenomenal clarity. So now let's acknowledge the sponsors who support making of such kind of videos and content. My first sponsor is Sante Spa Cuisine, which inspires you to eat clean, live well and feel the energy of food crafted with health in mind. You need to experience nourishment like never before at every Sante Spa Cuisine outlet. Friends, the second sponsor is Bod Active Gymwear, which motivates you to move freely and train harder with apparel designed for performance. You need to step into your active self with Bod Active. My third company and sponsor is Turning Red Media Studios, who makes stories breathe with creativity and technology. You need to discover content that moves minds and monetize ideas with Turning Red Media Studios. Friends, SDG 6 delivers efficient water storage solutions for homes, industries and communities. You need to secure water today for a sustainable tomorrow with SDG 6. Friends, your support allows us to share stories that inform and inspire. So before we close, remember to like this video if you have enjoyed it and share it with friends who love learning about businesses and reforms, including reforms from the governments like the GST reform which has just happened. So drop a comment with your thoughts on how GST changes will impact your life. And yes, do subscribe to this channel so you never miss out on fresh updates, because subscribing costs less than the 2 slabs of tax. Thank you so much.